Howdy. Sounds good. Nice. Yep.
Alright, we are back with another matchup for you guys. We've got Daidoji Adam H versus Daidoji Michah, another Crane vs Scorpion matchup. However, looking at these deck lists, these are very different. Gonna be a very different game.
Yeah, so we're looking here. If you guys haven't seen the previous stream, we had a game where there were two pretty unorthodox decks from both Crane and Scorpion playing each other. It was a very interesting game. And this time we're seeing, there are still some unusual things, but the decks are a lot more in line with what we've been seeing before.
Let's take a look at the Scorpion list here. We've got Adam is playing a list more akin to what Kalimsha has been playing, which is a very aggressive Crab Splash.
Yep.
For Pathfinder's Blade and Skirmisher to give you 6, and he's playing 3 Yojimbos, so he's got 6 coverts in his conflict deck.
Yep.
He's playing 10 holdings, which is...
Got 3 back alley hideaways, 3 favorable grounds, 3 Imperial Storehouse, 1 copy of City of Lies.
No Imperial Palace, so that is the one holding that he's not playing. He's only on 1 Cloud the Mind, but he has 2 Oni Masks, which I have not seen. Do you have any experience with that card?
Oni Mask is, some people have theorized about it as a replacement to Cloud the Mind. I guess we'll be seeing how that works in this game. It only released quite recently, so it's hard to say what impact it will have. So Cloud the Mind costs 1. Oni Mask costs 0, but you have to remove a fate from the character that you played it on, which is one of your own characters.
So it kind of also costs 1 in a sense.
Yeah, so it basically also costs 1 for 1 conflict, so it's a little less efficient in that respect. But the upside is that it does give you a military stat as well.
It also doesn't require a Shugenja, so sometimes Cloud the Mind can be awkward, where you have it and you want to play it, but you just don't have a Shugenja. Like, I've run into that problem with Dragon sometimes.
Yeah, very good point. Scorpion, on the other hand, usually doesn't have so much trouble, since they tend to play Yogo Outcast, Sinister Soshi, and Soshi Illusionist.
5.
Looking at this guy's deck, he is playing those cards, but he has them in
smaller numbers.
Smaller numbers than you might see other.
So
he has only 2 Sinister
7.
Soshi, 2 Illusionist, 3 Outcasts, so 7 Shugenja. A little risky to play a bunch of copies of Cloud the Mind, though he does have 1.
I think 7 for 1 is reasonable.
Yeah, I think the Oni Mask is actually very interesting. We'll have to see how it pans out. I do think the extra military stat from it gives you kind of a nice side usage. The one downside that I see with it, we were kind of touching on this in our post-game interview with respect to Fate Worse Than Death earlier, is that Oni Mask only affects participating characters. And
yes.
There are a lot of characters, well, there aren't a lot of characters, but there are a fair few characters that have very relevant abilities they're going to do from outside of the conflict. Most notably Kitsu Spirit Collar and Sinister Soshi. Cloud the Mind is great against those guys, but Oni Mask and Fate Worse Than Death doesn't do anything against them.
The other problem with Oni Mask is it is only until the end of the conflict, whereas
Yes.
Cloud the Mind is permanent and Fate Worse Than Death until the end of the phase. So if you Oni Mask like a Neaton Master, it can still ready after the conflict is over.
Yeah. So the Oni mask is, I think personally, I don't think that it's a very good replacement for Cloud the Mind. I think I would just want the clouds,
I
but we'll
think
see. I
it
do think that there's one other side thing, which is that the Cloud the Mind is more resilient to attachment control because attachment steal effects are worse in this situation, and some can't even be played. Like karate.
it looks like the game is gonna be up the same password as Cup. So we're just waiting for Micah to show to yep, he has just arrived. So the another thing is the Scorpion list is running one Fate Worse Than Death, and he is on your plan of running one I Can Swim. So
Yeah,
he's done that split, and he's on one Assassination, which is pretty standard, I think. The Swim's Fate Worse Than Death split is slightly different, but I don't think it's wrong per se.
I think as we touched on during the previous stream, I think that having even one copy of I Can Swim is a strong option, simply because there are a lot of situations where the opponent kind of has to overbid to block I Can Swim, and it can force them to get into an unfortunate state with respect to their honor total, especially with duels.
Another problem with well, not problem, but I see no policy debates in this, and policy debate is one of the best ways to turn I Can Swim on.
That's a very good point. Yeah, it's a little surprising that we don't see a policy debate here.
Like,
I believe that Kalimsha had said that he had also cut his policy debates, so it's possible that we're seeing a similar thing here. However, I do think that the previous deck also didn't have policy debate, but it did have the
you manipulator.
no, it had the what's his name? The one who sees the opponent's hand.
Oh, Meek Informant.
Meek Informant, that's right. So the Scorpion player in that last game was in fact able to see the Crane player's hand and know that he had to play around those Voice of Honors, for instance. And in this game, unless the Crane player initiates a policy debate and loses, the Scorpion player isn't going to get to take a peek at that hand.
That's true. So let's go ahead and take a look at this Crane list while they're setting the game up. The game's up on Jigoku if you want to join the spectators.
Sounds good.
So this Crane list here is it looks almost like core Crane. You're playing Dragon Splash. You have 3 Hotaru, 3 Yoshi. You're running three policy debates, 3 of each attachment, 3 rivals, three rivals, and 3 Steward of Law. Most lists I see have 2 rivals. 3
Rival can be a big expenditure. On the other hand, Rival on defense in particular is one of the best ways to hit people with the policy debate.
So the game has started. Looks like they're just doing their mulligans right now. And so, should be an interesting match. It should be very different than the previous matchup we saw, even though it is the same clans.
Yeah, I think these decks are going to have extremely different dynamics. The Scorpion deck in particular, the Crab Splash for Scorpion is quite aggressive. With the ability to blank provinces. Oh, and actually, let's take a look at the provinces here.
Oh, that's a good idea.
It looks like the Crane player has forgone
Fertile Fields,
the Frostbitten Crossing, and is that we saw from the previous one, or Fertile Fields, and then
or Before the Throne. I've seen Before the Throne also.
Yeah, Art of Peace.
Art of Peace is interesting. What is your opinion on that?
I don't like Art of Peace very much. I think that its ability is a little weird. There are some times where it can be quite strong, but I think it's sort of a strange thing to have an ability where you want there to be a big battle, so it affects a bunch of players, so it affects a bunch of characters rather.
Well, and you
But
want
then
them to
also
break
you want
it.
to lose. It's like
Yeah.
a pretty you want to not only lose, but you want to break. That's an unusual circumstance to have happen in a game.
I think it's also very poor in this matchup because of Pathfinder's Blade.
Yeah, I think I think a Fertile Fields would be more impactful here personally, but we'll have to see what happens. The Art of Peace can be really strong sometimes. For instance, if someone is playing Lion and they do a For Greater Glory attack, but all their get dishonored, that's often a big.
That's a pretty big deal, yeah, for sure. You can do some cool things with.
Is starting up.
Oh, go ahead. Yeah, so Micah's going first. Plays Challenger with 3, looking to pass first.
That is a bold play. He will. Yeah, so Peregrine is a rumor monger. I don't know that rumor monger is very good here because, the Crane only has one character in play.
What do you think? What do you think about playing Liar and Soshi? Like, so you play Liar with none, and you play Soshi with 1, or something like that.
That's what I would do, no doubt. Maybe I would even play Liar with a Fate. I'm not sure.
Sure. I think that would have been a slightly better line. I don't know what Adam has in his hand.
Fawning Diplomat is also. I don't think Fawning Diplomat is strong right now.
So from what I've noticed, a lot of the people have cut the Diplomat for Plagiarist, Illustrious Plagiarist.
Yeah, I would run that instead personally.
That card, it looks like Adam didn't. It looks like Adam did not opt to do that. Maybe he didn't have enough testing, or he decided not to.
Yeah, he doesn't have any copies of the Plagiarist in his deck. Looking at this, it does seem that the Crane player is playing Kakita Yoshi.
He's playing Yoshi and Hotaru, 3 of each.
Yeah, so that's kind of a high cost curve there. He has three Hotaru, 3 Kakita Yoshi, and 3 Guest of Honor.
Yeah, that is a lot. That is a very high fate cost Dynasty deck.
Yeah, that's an interesting play.
He's not playing any
We'll
test
have
of
to see
skills to note. A card a lot of Crane players have gravitated towards. No test of skills.
He did, yeah. So, and he has, but other than that, it looks like a pretty standard Crane package. 1 admit defeat. Sometimes people play more. I think basically, if you took his deck and you removed removed 1 political rival and added 1 admit defeat, it would be what I would consider like the standard.
Like core, yeah, what feels like core Crane. I don't like one-ofs as much without like ways to dig. Like the test of skills with like the one-ofs feel really strong because you have a higher chance of seeing them.
Yeah, I believe Shootrev was playing 1x admit defeat, 1x route, and a few other 1x cards, but he had 2 test of skills that, of course, he's going to be picking events, and hopefully that lets him filter for his one-ofs in the right moment.
So, to get back to the game, looks like first combat is coming. So, pre-conflict, Way of the Crane to honor Challenger. Again, the Rumor Monger not being effective here because of only 1 character.
Yeah, I do think the Rumor Monger was not the most optimal character to put out.
So, what do you go for here? You go for Void? Or what do you think? So both players drew 5.
I'd
and then
probably go for Void, try to clear the board. But I think it's quite likely that.
So he goes Earth.
I think it's quite likely Scorpion has a conflict character waiting in the wings. So.
Ooh,
and that secret cache is not what you want to see.
It's not the worst, right? Like, so I think the worst scenario would be to flip in a Shameful.
Yeah, I think Shameful is the worst. Secret cache is not great. What he really wants to do is to hit the public forum early.
Yeah. So back to provinces. We went off on a little bit of a tangent. So we did the Crane's provinces. So Scorpion provinces are running. He's running Secret Cache, Public Forum, Pilgrimage, Shameful, and Rally. So Rally 99% is under the Stronghold, and then you have 4 provinces. Public Forum is definitely the one you want to hit as Cranes. That's the only farmable province, which is why I am not a huge fan of Public Forum.
I think, I've tested Public Forum in Dragon, and currently I'm not playing it just because it is farmable. And in those games that turn into honor or dishonor games, you really don't want to see it. Okay, so we're seeing here, this was a political conflict. That makes sense. That enables the Crane Stronghold to battle the Rumor Monger.
So he's just gonna hook the Rumor Monger in.
Court games, looks like maybe we're seeing something get canceled here. Yep.
Forged Edict.
Forged Edict on court games from the Crane player.
So the Scorpion player court games first to dishonor, then the Crane player tries to go first, and then here's a fate worse than death.
Worse than death.
Wow.
There's no honor.
Before
That was, I think it was maybe a slight misplay.
I think first action you should hook, right? Like I think first action should
Yeah.
be hook.
Using the hook in this situation is strong because then you can use the Crane Stronghold to negate that character as it stands. We now also see maybe why Peregrine Falcon went for the Rumormonger. He's going to be able to do a military attack, though with the Bayushi Lyre he would be able to do a political attack and be out of range
Of
the
those,
Crane Stronghold.
yeah.
Okay, so let's see what the Crane player does in response to this. So basically, his
So
only real option to win the conflict now would be to play a Steward of Law.
yeah, so you could Steward of Law here, or you could just give up the conflict. You kind of bite the bullet and play Steward on defense.
Yeah, that's also an option. He does have the defensive option of using his favorable ground to move his challenger in. It doesn't do anything to give him numbers, of course. It does mean that by doing that, he can avoid losing an honor to UO.
If the Pathfinder's Blade comes out.
Pathfinder's Blade. Yeah, so now it does seem likely that he went with the Rumormonger in order to enable a military attack.
The question that I was gonna say the favorable ground turns Shameful Display on, which normally would not be on, but because of this Pathfinder's Blade, it is not going to be on.
At the same time, it does make him use the blade, so it does reduce his strength by 1. But yep, that's a Pathfinder's Blade is a really, really strong card.
It is definitely very strong. So runs into meditations. He's definitely gonna have to. He's. I think you always blade here. I can't.
Yeah, I think you blade here because if you don't blade, you lose the blade to the character leaving play.
Yeah.
So one way or another, you're gonna lose the blade. This way, you keep your guy. It is not necessarily what you want to see.
So okay, so he blades the meditations.
Yep.
Which is actually this is actually probably the best province to hit because it's a 4-strength province that forces the blade activation, whereas Shameful being a 3-strength province.
Yeah, I think from the Scorpion player's perspective.
So we got a bonsai coming from Peregrine Falcon.
Oh, he's going for the quick break.
He bonsai'd with kicker, so it's up to 5 now.
Up to strength 5. So if the Crane player has a Steward of Law, so if he had a Steward of Law for Shame combo, he could play Steward of Law, use for Shame, then use Favorable Ground to move the Steward of Law out, and then swing back into the Secret Cache. Let's see if he has that play.
Yeah, that would be very strong.
He has the Steward.
And
Does he have
Favorable Grounding out means the Void Ring will not be taken, so he can go back for Void.
Yeah, he can reverse it and clear the board. That would be I think that would be a pretty strong interaction. Another option that he could do would be to go for the Earth Ring again. Because it wasn't resolved from his earlier conflict, the Scorpion player is getting a little low on cards.
I could see going for firing also to re-honor your challenger, because I mean you did invest a lot into the challenger, so having a 1/1 challenger is not really what you want.
No. That said, the Harpoon is still quite relevant. Okay, so we're now seeing, yep, there's the favorable ground, just as predicted on this one. He's going to be going for another attack.
So it was a military, so if he so Peregrine Falcon doesn't choose to play he could play a skirmisher here if he so chose.
He could play yeah, that's true.
He could have skirmished to just to resolve the ring, but he decided not to, or he just doesn't have it.
And that was a Void Ring.
Yeah,
I think personally I would not in this situation. I think a Void off the challenger is nice. Okay, and he's going for that.
So going for Earth.
That's what he was going for earlier.
He values the cards.
A Dishonored Rumormonger isn't that relevant. I will say, as the board gets bigger, young Rumormonger's ability is very, very strong against Crane.
Correct. Yeah, for sure. Especially against stuff like Savvy
more.
Politician and Brash Samurai.
Now here's a question: does Michah have a bonsai of his own to make this a break?
He definitely could.
He does not.
He does not. Oh, discards Kachiko at random.
Okay.
That's definitely a win.
Yeah, so I mean, looking at this turn, we saw actually quite a few plays from both people, but I do think that the Crane player ended up with the upper hand.
I agree.
Since he'll take the favor.
Him putting
both characters are dishonored. The Crane one is a little stronger.
You take
other people got any breaks.
Do you take military or political favor here?
I take military favor probably.
Okay.
I think that the though I don't know, it's hard to say. It depends. The Crane Stronghold is useful against Scorpion's smaller characters, but they do have a lot of characters that just have like a base 3 stat. So it's possible the political favor would help in those fights. Yeah, it looks like he has gone for the political favor after all.
Gone for political favor. So him playing 3 on the Challenger actually came back to be a very positive play. If he'd only played 2 on the Challenger, like I think most players do, it would be at no fate right now. And so he does get at least two more turns out of this Challenger probably.
Yeah.
So Mike is gonna pass first player over to Peregrine Falcon. What do you mulligan off of the Scorpion side here?
Boy, that's hard to say.
Probably Diplomat. I think you mulligan Diplomat.
It looks like I would. Well, maybe he wants to keep Diplomat in case the Crane player is Kakita Yoshi.
Oh, that's fair.
Oh, but he pulls another Diplomat. That's really unfortunate.
And he's also so he doesn't mulligan any. Crane keeps the Brash Samurai and pulls another Brash Samurai.
Okay, so in this situation, the young Rumor Monger is quite nice to still have on the field. Crane also has Kakita Asami, who's usually pretty good in these Crane Scorp matchups. And let's see what we have. Liar with a Fate. Okay,
So Scorpion's probably going to pass first here.
A lot of people have been playing Liar with a Fate recently. For a while, the done thing was to put him in play without any Fate so that you could get that card quickly. But I think playing him with a Fate is actually quite strong because he does have good stats. And you're going to get the card one way or another. And this prevents him from being bowed by a military military water conflict, which is often a big weakness of the Bayushi Liar, since he can't even participate.
Now let's see if Micah values denying the Fate here for the pass. So I think you just play another Brash.
In particular, it might be worth the pass.
That's fair.
Looks like he's bringing out his Whisper.
So he might just go for Swarm here and play the other Brash Samurai also. Just go 1 Fate on everything.
Oh yeah, he'd be out of money, but he does have a fair ability to get money, since he'll have the opportunity to get a Fate from a ring, and presumably 2 out of the 3 unknown provinces will give him Fate if the Scorpion player attacks them.
And then the one unknown province that doesn't give him money is Shameful Display.
It does mean that it's less likely that he has a political rival waiting in the wings.
Correct.
But okay, so let's go to some bids. I can imagine we're going to see some high bids.
I imagine 5s again.
Yep. Yeah, Crane in particular wants to bid 5 to
Okay, so Peregrine Falcon bids 4. That's very strange.
I personally would have gone 5 as Peregrine Falcon because bidding 4 actually disables the Scorpion Stronghold.
Yeah, exactly. I was going to say he was already 1 down, or I think you definitely 5 bid for sure.
Does he have Good Omen? He doesn't have Good Omen.
No. I have not seen a Good Omen in a very long time.
I think that the world champion still plays Good Omen.
I can see it in Lion. Like Lion's one of the decks that's still low bids like all the time, right? Like,
yeah, Lion's probably the most low bid friendly of any deck right now. Even though the that one card that moves you in and honors you seems not to have panned out. What's that one called?
Say that one more time?
There's a Lion card that moves you into a conflict and honors you if you have a lower bid.
Test of Skill.
No, Test of Skill is the Crane one that draws.
Crap, I know what card you're talking about. It costs 1.
Yeah. That card seems to have not.
Oh, Test of Courage. Test of Courage.
Test of Courage. That's right. Test of Courage. I wonder if there's going to be a Test of X cycle. Probably not, but it would be interesting.
I don't know how Fantasy Flight designs their games, but that's like a Magic type thing where you have cycles.
Yeah, I mean they've clearly done it for some things like Seal of the Clan, Way of the Clan.
Yeah.
Okay, let's see here. We have a Pathfinder's Blade on an unassuming Yojimbo.
So he plays Yojimbo with all his Fate. So he has no more Fate left. So this Yojimbo he's gonna look to do a lot of work coverting.
Yeah, so maybe this unassuming Yojimbo, I don't know. I think probably you try to scout a new province here, but it's conceivable that he wants
you could also consider not giving the Crane any money, right? Because the Crane doesn't have any money. So if you give the Crane any Fate, he can peek in Fury.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's a very good point. On the other hand, you do want to reveal more provinces to disable Fury in the future, but one weakness that Scorpion have is their very low glory counts mean that Fury is basically active even if you've shown every province and are hitting the stronghold, since some of the most relevant attackers are going to have 0 glory. The unassuming Yojimbo, the Bayushi Liar, yeah. What do you think of the card Unassuming Yojimbo?
I think it's very good, but I also think it's very bad, if that makes sense. So I think because of its cost and because of its stats, you have to only attack with it. It has basically no, like it's very poor on defense. Like your covert characters, you almost always don't want to defend with them. Like the covert character that defends the most is probably Shuichi because he gains fate.
Yep.
But I think like when you play Yojimbo and you're not attacking with it, like I feel like you're in a losing position where you need to do that.
Yeah, my view is that you should people play Yojimbo for this early aggression, really kind of trying to overwhelm people with coverts, get in and break. I personally am not fond of it just in terms of cost for stats. I think
It's
Scorpion
close.
does need military.
I think a 3-1 covert is like 2.5 fate. I think it's very slightly overcosted. I don't think it's that much overcosted.
Yeah, for me, it compares very unfavorably to Political Rival or just to other covert options like Tattooed Wanderer and Hiruma Skirmisher.
Sure.
But to be fair, Tattooed Wanderer is insane, and Hiruma Skirmisher is insane. So it's like, if we say the unassuming Yojimbo is a little bit inefficient and you're already maxed out on Hiruma Skirmishers like this guy and you want more covert, I do think it's reasonable.
Yeah, it also gives you 3 mil on itself. So if you have mil favor, you can break 4 string provinces on your own, which is pretty big.
Yeah, or a Pathfinder's Blade. The one other little nice thing that it has to offer is that the one political stat allows you to use it as a covert in a political conflict, whereas the Hiruma Skirmisher has a dash, so you can't use dash political, so you can't use it to stealth in political, and the Political Rival has a dash in military. So of the conflict or covert options, Yojimbo is the only one that goes into both conflicts.
So he does faceplant into Shameful, but he fortunately has this Pathfinder's Blade.
Here we're going to see maybe the young rumor monger taking effect.
So you think he just honors the Whisperer then instead of the Samurai? Or he could honor the other Samurai?
Or actually, I think you could even consider honoring Doji Challenger. Yeah, that's what he's doing. Because that way it doesn't enable Voice of Honor.
Oh, that's fair. Okay, I was thinking maybe you honor the other Samurai, so that way its action is not.
Yeah, you can make its action irrelevant. I think that would be a good move. That would probably be the best one if you wanted to let him honor a guy. Okay, so the question here for me is, does the Crane player have a let go? Let go on Pathfinder Blade would be great here.
Well, then you also have to make sure that the Scorpion player doesn't have another Edict.
Yeah, true. But the way, honestly, my view on counters is make the opponent play them.
No, for sure. I'm just saying, like the play can still be stopped.
We are also seeing a big hand size gap with the Scorpion player only having 6 cards in hand to the Crane player's 12.
So Scorpion bid last this turn. He got discarded 1 from the Earth Ring, and he used more cards in the previous turn.
Yep.
And then he just played 2
cards
the first
turn as well.
Yeah.
So I think those 4 bids, had they been 5 bids, ooh, so we are seeing him. He just goes for the Shameful, and Pathfinder Blade is used to cancel it.
So he just doesn't have the let go, I would assume.
But here's the interesting thing: using the Pathfinder Blade means that the Scorpion player has just lost a point of military strength, and he is now no longer breaking.
He's not breaking. However, this unlike the previous
another Pathfinder's Blade.
Wow.
So now we're back to breaking, and that Yojimbo is loaded up for another Pathfinder's Blade attack later. Crane player can't be too happy about that, especially if he indeed does not have a let go.
Well, he could have a mill buff, right? Unlike the previous 2 decks, both these players are running a full assortment of weapons and bonsais.
Yeah. So I think a katana for the Brash Samurai would be nice to see here. Or a bonsai.
The Scorpion is only on 1 assassination also, so it's less fearful.
Yeah. And again, you kind of have to just make him play it, Let's see here. Scorpion has 2 calling in favors as his attachment control.
Yeah, because he's on the Crab Splash. And
that's right.
I've seen most of the Crab Splashes running 3 calling in favors because they don't have the let goes.
That's where I'm at personally. But, maybe there are some matchups where the calling in favors is not all that good. Calling in favors on a katana or fan is a little unimpressive.
One nice thing though is like Yojimbo having no glory is a prime target for calling in favors.
Yeah, it really mitigates the downside. So it can be kind of a synergistic thing there.
So we got a Way of the Crane
player
on Challenger. So now Voice of Honor is on.
Yeah, I do have to wonder why the way of the crane was on the Challenger instead of on the Brash Samurai.
Maybe he just wants to be efficient because the Brash Samurai does have his action. So maybe he waited the cranes to turn Voice of Honor on, and now he can go for a bonsai and have a counter for your opponent's
Oh,
bonsai.
yeah, win the counter war on the Bonsai. That makes sense. For those viewers who may not have heard of the counter war, that's a phrase that people use sometimes to characterize the situation where both people have decks with active counters, because in that situation, the person who plays the action has the advantage instead of the person with the counter having the advantage,
Yeah.
because you can use your counter on your opponent's counter.
Yeah,
So
you basically go you take initiative basically and you start the fight. So whoever starts the
yeah.
fight ends up with the advantage because you get to play the last counter.
All right, so Peregrine Falcon passes. Let's see if Micah has that bonsai. No, he has a katana. Okay, so it could
Okay,
be
so
that
he can
he's
counter
trying to
the
make sure he
calling in
doesn't get
favors.
assassinated.
We can also counter calling in favors. Like we were saying, calling in favors to put this katana
Yeah,
on the Yojimbo
on
will
the
turn that thing
Yojimbo, that'd be strong.
into a monster.
But the Scorp does have the ability to play one Forged Edict here from his Bayushi Lyre. Neither player is playing Censure, is that correct? That is
Yeah,
correct.
that's correct.
So we're looking at a fairly established board here. Both characters have four. Both players have four characters, and the vast majority of those characters have fate. This is a little bit of a bigger board than you normally see on turn two, but that kind of goes to show how decks with a lot of efficient 1 and 2 cost characters can build up quick. Let's see here. It looks like Micah is thinking.
So maybe he has another katana.
He could have another katana. Oh no, it looks like it's a bonsai.
Okay, yep.
Maybe he is deciding whether or not to go.
Oh, trying to whether or not to kick it.
Yeah, it's interesting that he played the katana instead of just bonsai alone in this situation. I think I would have just gone for the bonsai.
Yeah, you go bonsai first, right? And then if your opponent plays a buff that you can beat with the katana, you can go over the top.
Right. I think the katana is a little needless here because the double bonsai alone puts him in a winning position for this conflict.
So slightly inefficient because it is a katana. It will last for next turn, so it's not like the worst. It's not like playing like I don't know two events that to do the job of one basically.
Then perhaps
Maybe he was trying to bait. Maybe he was trying to bait something with the katana.
Yeah, that's possible. Like he might have wanted the opponent. Oh, he doesn't have any fate though, so he can't have been baiting a Miramoto's.
No, I'm saying he could have tried to bait like calling in favors.
Yeah, the reason that I would most want to do that is to try to get the opponent to put a bunch of buffs on the Yojimbo and then Miramoto's him.
Yeah, that would be strong.
But the bonsai may be enough to win. Let's see what Peregrine Falcon does. One note here is
So he
that the
plays Oni
water
Mask.
ring, Oni Mask. Okay, so he can.
6 to 8. Oh, he might try and calling in favors this katana now to go over the top.
Yeah, so he could do that.
He could also have his own katana.
Yeah, he might just be using Oni Mask for the +1 stat. Oni Mask on that unassuming Yojimbo with 2 fate is going to be strong. That he has the ability to use that fate. On the other hand, he kind of wants that character in play for a while with these attachments that he's loading up on him.
So Scorpion has 2 katanas. They've cut one for the Oni because they're running 2 Oni Mask.
Personally, I think it would be tight if Oni Mask's action were unlimited. That would make it a very interesting card.
Oh, so like in a single combat, you could just turn off a bunch of guys.
Okay, so he's using his Sinister Soshi here, and it looks like he's played the Oni Mask for the +1 stat.
Sure. Okay.
Yeah.
So now we're 6/6 here. So Soshi gets used. Now does Micah have another? Yeah, there's the second katana. Okay. I think sequencing was a little bit off, but in the end result is the same.
Yeah, because the Scorpion player is fighting hard for this ring, I think that the Crane player's slightly inefficient play maybe makes more sense.
I think that's what I really like about this game is there's just micro decisions like that where, like on the surface, it's not really a wrong play, but it's not as efficient. You know what I mean?
Okay, we're now seeing. This is interesting. It looks like we're seeing.
We're seeing the calling in favors.
But why would he be using it with his
No, he's using the rumor monger to dishonor the Soshi.
Got it. Instead of the unassuming.
Which,
That makes sense.
yeah.
Because the
So then
dishonor there
the
is
Yojimbo
irrelevant.
can't get noble sacked. Then it's a pretty strong. It's a pretty smart play actually.
Yeah, though I don't think that he would want to noble sack with his challenger.
Well, so there's the voice of honor that we assumed he had.
Yeah, the question now is, are we going to see the cancel war?
It
We're
looks like
not.
voice of honor has resolved, so it looks like
Yeah.
that we're not seeing a war. So one reason, so say you dishonor the Yojimbo, and then your opponent goes and honors their Whisperer, they can just noble sack it that way.
Yeah, that's true. But
And
this is the fire conflict.
You lose two attachments.
Yeah, that would be it. Would be nasty to get double sacked. And Sinister Soshi is also, it gives you like a point of armor, so to speak, against for shame because you can dishonor instead
That's
of bow.
true. Yep, that's 100% true.
And I think the Crane player is running 3 for shames. Most of them do.
Yeah,
That's right.
For shame is such a strong card. I can't imagine if you have access to enough courtiers. I can't imagine not running 3.
Yeah, let's see here. So we have Micah's passing. He's still up by 2. This has been a very contested fight, and I have to say that it seems that the Crane player is in a strong position at the end of it.
Yeah, because so he's preventing a break. He's up 7-2 in cards.
Yeah.
And he's only down 2 honor.
Additionally, the fate situation has turned to.
Well, so Peregrine Falcon started the turn with 5, and he just dumped it all into the Yojimbo.
He got one from a ring, but he spent that one on the calling in favors, which was then blocked.
Correct.
One downside of calling in favors is that it hurts a lot to have it canceled.
Yeah, because it does cost 1.
Only spent a fate, you dishonored one of your guys.
Yeah. I think that's why Lecco is so strong, being a 0 cost event.
That's also somewhat the disadvantage of Forged Edict. Okay, so we now see a for shame being played, the young rumor monger enabling that, taking the Brash Samurai down to strength 6, and Micah passes. So it looks like the Scorpion will, at the cost of almost all their cards,
so he's
be
firing.
able to get a win.
You think he dishonors the challenger to get an honored guy off the table, or to get an honor token off the table?
That seems fairly reasonable. Another option is that he honors his own guy, but I think dishonoring the challenger would be better.
I think if the rumor monger had any fate left, I would consider re-honoring it to turn to get another edict target up.
Yeah, he does have his Bayushi Lyre though.
That's true, and that does have the 1 fate.
Yeah, I think. I would probably dishonor the challenger here. I think the
Crane player is perfectly fine with the way this combat went.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think this was so expensive for Scorpion, especially because they were bidding slightly low. I do think that if the Scorpion player had bid 5 this turn and last, he would be in a significantly stronger spot at this phase.
So you could do next attack. So let's see, Micah can go political with the challenger and the Whisperer, and go for a ring. Probably Void is the best ring right now with fate on it. You hook the lyre, and then you get to do a military with your Brash Samurai on, and then honor it.
Well, that's a good point. So he could make the lyre confront him, basically. Another option would be to do the first conflict as a military, because that way, if he hits the shameful display,
well, I was thinking you could just attack Secret Cache. I know it kind of sucks.
I think Secret Cache is one of the worst provinces to hit. I avoid it wherever possible.
Well, so here's my logic. So your opponent has 2 cards. He's going to get one of the top 5 cards in his deck, and you're going to be able to attack it twice. Is what I'm saying.
Yeah, I think in this situation, it depends on if he has anything that would buff his military strength. I would probably do military with Brash Samurai solo. Because that way...
Peregrine Falcon commenting that conflict that just ended felt like 3 conflicts in one.
Yeah, no doubt. That was a huge number of actions being played. The Crane player used Shameful, used Way of, used Bonsai, and played 2 katanas. That's like 5 things. The Scorp player played...
they played...
Pathfinders, calling in favors for shame.
They played 2 Pathfinder's Blades, an Oni Mask, a calling in favors, and a
Soshi. Oni Mask.
And they used their Soshi.
Lots of stuff. Okay, so he does a military conflict, and he sees the public forum. Nice.
Perfect. Okay, so that's exactly what you want to see.
Yeah. And, yeah, public forum. So, actually, it would also be really good if he saw Shameful. In fact, it would be even better.
Yeah, because your opponent has no fate.
It would give the Scorpion player a fate from Seeker of Void, and if he did have a guy to sneak in
He would
there,
need
it might
a
enable him.
skirmisher would be the one would be the one drop that could sneak in, and that would
Yeah.
that would be like disastrous. So Scorpion just doesn't. Oh, he removes a fate to blank the challenger. Why though? It's a military conflict.
That can only that's I think that can only be considered a misplay.
That's
I
gotta
think
be a
it
misplay. Yeah,
the,
I think Adam didn't realize what type of conflict it was, or he just forgot that his lyre is a dash.
perhaps he thought that the challenger could force the liar to come in and then bow. Luckily, that's not possible, or else the challenger would be even better than it already is.
Well, we were talking the other day about how dash versus zero. This is a situation where dash is just strictly superior.
Yeah, I think dash is often better than zero, and I think this is why. So I do think the Scorpion player wasted what could be an important fate on a tooled up character in this situation. So that's not looking great. Additionally, it looks like the Crane player is going to get his first break on public forum.
So this is actually very disastrous because the Crane player went for Void and he removed a fate off of his Yojimbo.
Oh,
This Yojimbo's gonna
that's
die.
a huge mistake. Oh man.
So he just that's such a huge fate swing. It's two items also.
Yeah, so I think that's actually a giant misplay from the Scorpion player. I think that he's not only losing a powerful character, he's losing two strong attachments. And ooh man, that's tough.
Well, he basically just paid 5 fate and 3 attachments on this one character to win one conflict. Like it didn't even get a break. Like
that is brutal. I think that's a very very big swing from basically an unforced error.
I agree. The main issue also is that the Scorpion player is so low on cards. Like
Right, exactly.
The Crane player
he really needs to preserve what he has.
So the Crane player could easily go for air if the Scorpion player doesn't, and then low bid him and just start putting that pressure on.
Okay, so Crane still has. It is quite hard to dishonor Scorpion though, thanks to their stronghold.
It's hard, but you can basically kind of slow the game down in terms of the amount of cards that are being drawn.
No doubt.
And like when you have the hand advantage, like that's a very strong thing. Michah can also go for if Peregrine goes for a ring with fate, Michah can float the fate on the ring because he'll get first player.
Honestly, even if the Doji Challenger could pull in the Bayushi Lyre and make him not do anything, I would not have spent the fate for that Oni Mask there.
Especially contesting Void.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
The Void Ring is too powerful. Okay, so Peregrine Falcon passes his conflict. So he is the Crane.
So Crane goes air here, I think. So you go air, and then you float the fate on the water, and you basically scoop it all.
Yeah, I would do air. Yeah, air now, water next turn with 2 fate on it. One thing that I've been noticing as I've been kind of advancing my game recently is that knowledge of where the fate on rings is going to be and how that's going to affect the next turn can be very important. Whoa, interestingly, he's going for Earth. I guess he's just trying to max that card advantage.
I don't dislike Earth. I think Earth or Air were the two. I don't think you ever.
I dislike Earth. The reason I dislike Earth is because in this situation it means that the opponent is going to have the option to take a ring with 2 fate on the next turn. I think denying that is important.
I also agree with that. It is, however, would let them challenge Earth with a ring or with a fate.
With a fate, yeah, that's fair. But I would personally be.
I would have gone air. I would have gone air personally, but again,
actually, wait a minute here. There's one other thing.
Oh, so there's the court games.
No, it's that the Scorpion player's stronghold hasn't been used, so the impact of the air ring would be negligible since it would actually enable the Scorp stronghold.
Yeah, I mean, I think you do the air ring strictly for the fate.
Yeah, so I do think that's a thing, but with this in mind, I would probably go Earth.
Okay,
I think that might be right.
So Earth conflict is 1 with a fan. So Brash Samurai honored, court games to dishonor, fan wins the conflict, and then last card being calling in favors gets discarded. So we have a 7-0 hand size advantage.
That's brutal.
We're gonna have a 4-0 character advantage.
And the Crane is way ahead on board. Oh man,
This
I really think that the Oni mask usage was a giant mistake, and it really puts the player at a big advantage.
so and because he revealed public form, he has free province to attack.
That's right. He doesn't have to draw a cautious scout to figure out what's going on. Cautious scout, by the way, we were mentioning this in the previous stream, but I'll just give him a shout out again. Cautious Scout, like 0 to hero, man. In the original core set meta, I thought Cautious Scout was very weak. With provinces the way they are right now, and with people on secret roles and stuff, Cautious Scout is the bomb.
Yeah, Cautious Scout is basically like it's so strong, especially a lot of these strong reveal provinces like Secret Cache and Restoration of Balance.
Yeah, I'm on 3 Cautious Scout. Oh, and there he is, the Cautious
And he
Scout.
flipped
Now, I will
Yoshi.
say, this isn't the situation where you want the Cautious Scout.
I think
But what
you
he's gonna
just
do
run
is play
Yoshi.
Yoshi.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you Yoshi with 2 and pass probably, or depending on your hand, you can Yoshi with 3.
Oh, I think you're right. I think well, he will get 2 fate one way or another. So,
So Scorpion's probably gonna buy Shoju, or they're gonna pass immediately for a Kachik. Oh, they don't have any cards in their hand.
this is not what Scorp wants to see. I no, you know what? I bet he's gonna play one of his fawning diplomats.
He has no cards in his hand, so like a lot of the times that the Scorpion players play out a character and pass is because they have stuff to do. Having no cards is such an like a foreign concept to these Scorpion players.
I will say I think there was one other error, which is that I think the Scorpion player absolutely should not have kept 2 fawning diplomats. I would have mulliganed one of them.
For sure, for sure.
You do not want to play 2 of those. And if the remaining card were like another Sinister Sochi, it could be very useful to play.
Well, it would have been.
So he is playing 1.
It would have
So
been this Imperial Storehouse.
The Fawning Diplomat here is a strong card to play because it will guarantee. Oh, you know what? Maybe he kept the other Fawning Diplomat on purpose, with the theory being that next turn he can play one also and guarantee the favor against Yoshi.
Well, see, he didn't know he had it.
Yeah, but he didn't know that the other person had Yoshi, so that's kind of janky either way.
So basically, Fawning Diplomat is a concession to Yoshi. I almost like playing Shoju there. Like Shoju is so strong, and it feels like the Scorpion players just never play him.
So yeah, now we're seeing. I think the downside of Shoju is that because he is so strong, a lot of times people are just like, well, okay, this guy's got a really big number. I'm just gonna not block him. I'm gonna let him break. You know, he's gonna waste a bunch of his big number, and his ability is really strong, but it won't do anything. That said, there are some circumstances where, with movement effects or other things, Shoju just becomes a monster. If you can get him into both political conflicts, especially against an enemy clan that has to go with some political attacks, Shoju is...
Especially with Soshi on board.
Yeah, Soshi-Shoju combo is really strong. You can kill even a quite powerful character or get through some buffs.
He is not playing any poisons, so that is another card that combos very strongly with Shoju.
I will say one downside in this situation, however, is that the playing Shoju, he would likely be pulled into a military fight by the Doji Challenger, thus
fair.
making him less relevant than he could be. So maybe he's waiting for that Challenger to go away. Okay, so we're now seeing...
Public form, you go water here. Like, I almost guarantee it's a water.
Yeah, military water, pull in the Fawning
Diplomat.
Diplomat, bow the Bayushi Lyre, I think, without question. Man, 5 to 13 cards. This card disadvantage for the Scorpion is...
It's 5 to 13, and we have a Yoshi activation still?
So it's like, I mean, it's sort of 5 to 16, if you assume that Yoshi's going to go off.
We're even on Fate, like,
On the other hand, there is an Imperial Storehouse, so it is going to be probably 6 to 16. That's... So I do think here what we're seeing is...
So we're just looking for a break here.
First 2 turns, Scorp bid 4 instead of 5. I would have bid 5 in both cases. That might have enabled some stronghold use, which would make the honor situation not that bad. I don't think he's been able to use his Stronghold yet.
He used it on turn 1, and that was it.
Yeah, he used it on turn 1. Okay. But I think that if and the other thing is, the Crane player has taken Earthring both turns. So we see the Scorp player is down by 2 cards just from bids. And
down
then
2 cards from Earthring.
2 cards for each Earthring. So it's like, that's 6 cards right there. And then additionally, he's played more of his cards. So what we see those factors, sometimes if you're playing a bunch of cards to get results, that's good, but they haven't had the impact on the board that I think the Scorp player would like. Okay, Crane's coming in, Chandra and Brash Samurai. I guess he's just
going for the break. Like he
wants the break.
The samurai with the double katanas he's just gonna get on this military. The Scorpion player is not gonna do a military conflict most likely.
Yeah, unless he has another
Yojimbo.
So if the Scorpion player does not have a conflict character, the Crane player can actually take that 2 fate from the air ring, and that's just brutal. The fate on rings are actually a big part of this game.
It's a lot of because when the game at the higher levels of the game, a lot of the turns get planned out based on where the fate is going to be on the rings and how much of that fate you're going to be able to get. So just denying fate off of the rings can just jack people up in terms of what they're trying to do.
Yep, and as you know, I've been testing Jade Masterpiece recently thanks to a suggestion from Shashimi, aka Nix, and messing with Fate on Rings can be strong.
It can. I will second this. Having been tested Jade Masterpiece, it is definitely a strong card.
Okay, so now we're seeing. He doesn't have the Ojimbo, but he has the Haruma Skirmisher, which is probably even better.
Yeah, costs him less fate. He gets to poke.
Probably the Skirmisher sneaks past the Brash Samurai here.
Yeah, and goes to Meditations.
Yep, it goes to Meditation since that one's blank. That makes a lot of sense. Maybe Crane will defend with Kikita Yoshi, maybe not.
So you could just defend with Yoshi, you could pitch favor and draw your cards, and then you can use your Brash Samurai to go at something else and honor it. You don't even mind hitting. You can break both Pilgrimage and you can break and you don't care about Shameful.
Yeah, so are we going to see the military air here for the fate?
It has to be, right?
That's what I would go for.
So if the Scorpion player makes it out of this turn with a decent amount of fate, and they won't be that behind. They'll be behind on a bunch on hand size, but in terms of
the
board
cards
state,
are nasty.
I agree, but it's you can definitely come back.
And you want to know the worst part? If I'm Crane here, and I get another attack that probably wins, I'm gonna go for Earth again. I'm just gonna pound that card advantage, unless I have Voice of Honor, in which case I'm probably going to go for the Fire Ring to honor Yoshi. All right. Yep, he's doing the move, as you said.
Yep. So let's see if Michah defends with Yoshi. I think I would defend with Yoshi. You're not going to get favor. You're not going to get favor at the end of the turn because of the Diplomat, so you want to cash in while you can.
If he hadn't made that mistake with the unassuming Yojimbo, the situation would look so much more favorable for Scorpion.
Yeah, because you'd be attacking you'd covert past 2 guys and you'd be breaking Meditations.
That's right. Or, you could actually freely go into Shameful because he lost a Pathfinder's Blade that was on that Yojimbo as well. That's... Okay, so then Yoshi immediately uses the favor, so now we're seeing that 16 card advantage.
And now all events are going to cost less in this conflict. Are there any See, this is where Test of Skill is pretty big because you can chain a lot of stuff.
Yeah, once you've enabled Kikita Yoshi, Test Skill becomes a 0-cost card that probably draws you 2 cards, and that's really strong. Okay, so now I had thought for a moment we might see Fate Worse Than Death, but it is merely a way of Scorpion.
That's another reason to use Yoshi on defense, is you get to first action use this ability.
Yep.
No, Peregrine Falcon is on 1 I Can Swim and 1 Fate Worse Than Death. He does not have a second Fate Worse Than Death.
Oh, did he already play the first one?
Yeah, he played the first one on the Challenger on turn 1.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah. My mistake, viewers. Apologies.
Yeah, it could be worse. It's definitely the equivalent of Pot of Greed or Bill. Just 0 mana, draw 2, except you get to Impulse, so you look at the top 4.
Bill was the Pokemon just draw cards.
It's a trainer, just draw 2 cards. And then Pot of Greed is a 0 mana draw 2. Ancestral Recall, like all the cheap draw cards.
Yep.
We're up to 16, 17 viewers, man. We are becoming popular.
Yeah, as L5R, I mean, we're not exactly competing with PUBG here, but
or League of Legends.
Yeah.
Move on over, Summit.
All right, so we're seeing he steals an honor. Michah is looking a little low on honor. Could we see the Scorp player turn this around into a dishonor win? I don't think it's impossible.
So if I was Michah here, I would low bid. I would 2-bid on my next draw. I already have a million cards. I don't like if the game is gonna go long enough. I don't want to run out of conflict decks and lose 5 honor. Like I've definitely seen people lose the game that they should never have lost because of that.
If I were Falcon, I would probably hammer that 5 bid.
He hits rally, which is perfectly fine.
Yeah, that does not do anything much to a Breath Samurai with a fan.
Wait. So he has rally in his row. This means that he has pilgrimage under his stronghold.
Boy,
I do not agree with that.
I'll say this. Well, he could have Shameful Stronghold.
He could have Shameful under Stronghold. I also don't agree with that.
Yeah, I would rally HQ against Crane, no question. But, yeah, I mean, I will say that I think this character would have been able to break Pilgrimage given 16 cards in hand.
Sure, I mean, I think you could break anything. I'm just saying you lose. So the reason I like having, especially a Seeker roll, I like having both of my on-roll provinces in my row is it gives me more opportunities to get money.
Oh, yeah, no doubt. I think an aspect of the Seeker roll that a lot of people miss is that the fate from Province Reveal is vastly more reliable than the fate from winning a specific ring on defense.
Oh yeah, winning on defense. I think when I play Crab, I think the Keeper roll goes in like 1 every 5 games.
Yeah, and I mean, so there are some that are better than others. When Dragon had Keeper of Void, I would actually be able to use that fairly often because people would often contest the Void Ring against Dragon.
I see Unicorn getting their keeper on defense a decent amount because they are now Keeper of Void. So Brash Samurai goes in, honors itself, so she prevents the break.
Yeah, and there's that Earth Ring again, 317. This is an insane card.
I'm very surprised that the Crane player. I'm very surprised the Crane player did not have a mill buff there, with 16 cards.
Yeah, what the heck? I am too. He had 16 cards.
So
okay, let's see. He's actually already played 2 katanas and a bonsai.
So he had 2 bonsais and a katana left.
So he's used half his mill buffs, but his hand is bigger than his deck, man. You would expect him to have at least 1.
It is reasonable that you don't draw any of those 3 cards.
Yeah, on the other hand, we sort of de facto know that he didn't have one earlier, or he probably would have used it to not lose the heavily contested fire conflict. One element of this game.
Wow!
What is this?
That is
Kachiko,
a 0
no fate.
This feels like desperation.
That's crazy. Kachiko, no fate.
So he's just gonna go for a break.
I don't like that one bit.
This just isn't gonna work, right? Like,
he'll break meditations?
No, your opponent has Mirror Middle's Fury, like 99%.
Oh, okay. So he has to swing at an unseen province to disable Miramoto's.
Yes. Okay. So if you want this attack to work, you have.
What is he doing?
I am so confused. If he does not go to an unrevealed province, he's just gonna get Furied out of the game.
This is absolutely crazy, in my opinion. Both to play Kachiko at all here, and to put a fan on her preemptively when the only opponent is someone you can throw out of the conflict. He's going for meditations?
I do not agree with this line of play.
No, I think this is garbage. I think he's going to get hit by Miramoto's. If he gets hit by Miramoto's,
for firing
he's out of the
also?
game.
He should be going for Void Ring.
I think he's good. Yeah, I mean,
You should at least like I mean if you're gonna do this, at least void the Yoshi.
maybe he thinks he'll be able to do Void Ring next turn first and gain a Fate.
Well, so if you void the Yoshi, you can then challenge Water and bow the Yoshi.
Yeah, good point.
So especially in a deck with all the coverts, you can covert past the Yoshi and then attempt to.
This is
So
wow.
yeah, he just gets.
Why did he bow instead of dishonoring?
I'm very confused.
This is absolutely boggling to me. Why did he bow?
He should just have dishonored. Because he still would have broken. He put the fan on.
Why did he put the fan on at all? Okay, so I honestly think that the Scorpion player has just thrown the game. It's going to be really hard to get back out of that. Like, this is even worse than the Oni Mask error from earlier.
I would agree.
That is so crazy.
I think the Scorpion player might have just gone on tilt or like just like they've.
He does still have a chance to go for the dishonor, but he.
I mean, it's 7-7 and the Crane. It's 16-2 on cards. The Crane player doesn't have to draw any more cards. They can one bid for the rest of the game and probably still win.
I would be so happy with the game just with the turn just ending there, keeping Kachiko in my hand, and just waiting to see what happens. I think that looks so much better for Scorp.
Yeah, so the Scorpion player would have 12 Fate going into this turn, and with a Shoju.
I think it was bad to play Kachiko. I think it was bad to play Fan. I think it was bad to attack Meditations, and I think it was bad to bow from that first shame. I think like almost everything he did there was bad. Sorry, no disrespect if you're watching this, man.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm not trying to insult you. I'm not trying to insult you personally, but I do think those were not the right moves to make.
To anyone watching our games or who watch the VODs or anything of your games that get casted, we're not trying to bash on you or anything. We're literally just trying to be objective on like lines of play and why we think that like we're trying to explain why we think they're bad also. Like we're not just saying that was terrible and this person is terrible. That's not what we're trying to convey here.
Okay, so let's see here. He does have a storehouse, that'll be nice. He has a Yogo Outcast that's not so
he might
good
Shoju
here.
with one.
Shoju, okay. And he probably won't play out. Oh man, the Crane player has a Kasha Scout.
So you can scout. So he actually knows the province. He should know that the final province is Pilgrimage or Shameful.
Which one it is relevant. The Kasha Scout could find that out. On the other hand, maybe he doesn't even need it.
He could just go into Seeker Cache with the Kasha Scout also.
Think of how tight this would be right now for Scorpion if he had the ability to play that Kachiko with Fate on her and have just giant characters. Well, okay, we're seeing Challenger 3 Fate.
What do you think about Challenger 3 Fate in a game like this? I feel like the game is not going to last this long. I
don't think the game is going to last 4 more turns, but I would personally do Challenger 2 Fate, but I see why. You know, I can see Crane being like, all right, I'm way up on cards.
Oh, Micah's just going. Micah might get Dishonor. Micah has 8 cards in his deck and is at 5 honor.
Okay, yeah, Michah, I would not have.
I would have one bid. I would 100% have one bid, and I would. The only way I'm losing this game.
I don't like either bid.
I would have 5 bid if I was Adam, and I would have one. I think I would have 1 or 2 bid if I was Michah. Probably 2 bid actually.
Well, we'll see what happens. So, okay, 21 cards is insane, and in the meantime, we're looking at Scorp with goes up to dude. If Scorp pulls this out, this is going to be the absolute craziest game.
I mean, I think
if
Scorpion wins this game, it's because Michah throws. Like I think that's really what it is. I think this game is Micah's to lose at this point.
I agree. So he has a plus 15 card advantage, which is obscene.
He's plus 15 on cards. He's even on honor, and he's not even like at 2 Fate or 2 honor.
He's actually quite behind on honor now.
Well, I was gonna say it's not like he's not in the danger zone yet. The danger zone is this conflict deck.
Yeah. So if Michah throws the game by running out of conflict cards and dying, it's gonna be the most unhyped stream ever. It's gonna be one of the like who can throw harder games.
Reality Fall. I'm not sure if you're aware, but if you run out of cards in either deck, it reshuffles and you immediately lose 5 honor. So the bid 5 is fine, but he definitely can lose.
If he doesn't see it, now to be fair, he could bid 1 for 8 more turns, and I would be absolutely astounded if this game went 8 more turns.
That's fair. That's fair. I'm just saying, like, that is something to be wary of.
Yeah, no doubt. Okay, so let's see here. So I think.
Well, the only
Yeah,
reason I
wait.
think bidding 5 is a little loose is because you have Yoshi, right? You're gonna have Yoshi for another turn, and you're gonna get the favor most likely. So that's another activation you can use to just get fate there.
All right, so if you're a Scorp, I assume you go for the Void Ring here.
So you void with Shoju at. So it's gonna be one of the 2 air provinces remaining, because you know. The problem is you can get Furied, and Shoju getting Furied is very miserable because he doesn't get to do anything.
He has to attack though, or else Doji Challenger sends him into a military conflict.
No, he has to attack. It's just kind of a do or damned if you do, damned if you don't situation.
Also, this is yet another reason that he should have sent Kachiko into one of the face-down provinces, because if he had done that, then Shoju could attack the other face-down province and negate the Muramotos.
Correct.
Muramotos is a card. I personally hope that we see. I personally hope that we see more cards
In that
use the number of face-down provinces mechanic.
I think that's a very strong mechanic. It makes the card very strong in the early game and lose power as the game goes on.
Yeah, and it also leads to some interesting situations where like you're intentionally enabling or disabling things. Art of Peace. Well, to be honest, Art of Peace is not bad here.
He defending with Yoshi.
Defending with Yoshi.
It's fine because he knows his opponent doesn't have any poisons.
Yeah. It's under normal circumstances, no open deck list. That's like potentially suicidal. But on the other hand, he quite probably has a court games or something.
So
let's look at his discard.
Yeah, I'm looking at it right now. He's used 2 for shames and 1 court games.
He has spent all 3 Way of the Cranes, so he has 2 more court games in his deck as the only remaining honored cards.
I'm assuming he has at least a court games in his hand, and I'm assuming he has at least 1 Voice of Honor in his hand.
Yeah, I think those are the types of evaluations I would be making. I will say that the Crane player has played some of his strongest and most direct impact cards.
He does have 2 Steward of Laws still, with 1 for shame remaining, so there's also that combo available. Steward of Laws, actually, Steward of Law doesn't work against Shoju. No.
Oh yeah, Shoju will just kill him. He might have a political rival though.
Well, I don't think he cares if he loses this, because the Scorpion went fire.
Oh, why did the Scorpion not? What the heck?
So Yoshi's just gonna hang around for another turn with favor.
I think it is extremely, extremely unwise to go for the fire instead of the void ring here, because the void ring isn't so good, but the fire. The void ring isn't so good for the Scorpion, but it is so bad to have used against you to get that Shoju off the field.
So what just happened here? What got played?
Crane just let it break. Art of Peace went off.
Oh, sure.
And then it looks like he used the fire ring to honor Shoju. That probably signals a forged edict. But the problem here is that I can only imagine Crane is just going to do void and clear that Shoju off the field.
Yeah, that's another reason you go void, right? Like, so you protect your Shoju, because if you play Shoju with 1, so like you can make an argument with the other version, like say the other iterations of Scorpion that are more control heavy, that do dragon with Fury and stuff. You can make more defensive plays.
Yeah. Boy, this is.
Yeah, reality fail. I'm not saying that Michah will lose. I'm just saying there is an opportunity if he's not paying attention to the number of cards in his deck. That's all I'm saying. I
think the Scorpion player has made several significant mistakes in the past bit, and I don't think he's going to be able to come back. Oh, I do think it's a bit unwise. Why would he go for Secret Cash? Is there something I'm missing here?
Why don't you just go for Rally?
Yeah, exactly. Or just go for the blank thing. I mean, I think he can break Pilgrimage, and I think if it's shameful, Scorp doesn't have a guy out. I do think going into Secret Cash is unwise here. Maybe he wants to clear the Yogo Outcast, though I can't imagine why.
I mean, I think I would attack Rally, and then I would attack the face down province.
Ironically, Kakita Yoshi's ability is now somewhat unsafe to use, even though the Crane player will likely claim the Imperial favor
That's
this
another
turn.
reason I don't know if I would have been 5. I guess you could just get to keep favor. I mean, a very foreign concept with people who use Yoshi. Drawing cards is one of the best feelings in all of video games, or not video games, card games.
Yeah, I do think going to Secret Cache here was wrong, but man, Scorpion would be in so much better of a position if he had gone for Void instead of Fire. I really do think that was a big mistake. We're really seeing some.
Questionable decisions.
That's right. And once again, I want to say, hey, no disrespect to Peregrine Falcon. I'm not trying
Or
to.
Micah. I mean, in this situation, we're asking.
Yeah,
what Micah's doing.
we're saying both, but I do think I do think that the same. I think there are some other lines of play that might have gone better. Okay, Haruma Skirmisher coming in. Dude, if Peregrine Falcon somehow pulls out the surprise dishonor win in this game, I'm gonna be so hype. It's gonna be
I just can't. I can't
incredible.
see it. I can't see it. I just can't.
Okay, so right now, so what does he do? Okay,
So
so
you use
right now,
air at meditations, right?
yeah, air ring into meditations, coverting Nourishma. Sneak. He's going on shameful. I think that's actually a big mistake because that favorable ground could send Nourishma in.
Oh, someone in chat was commenting that because the Scorpion doesn't have Blackmail Artist, it will be a little harder to get that instant dishonor victory.
Why? Okay, so I think going to shameful here is a big mistake.
Wait, he's just gonna
think
favorable grounds in Yoshi and get a free honor.
Yeah, I think that's exactly right.
And the because the skirmisher randomly has 1 glory, it will not have any strength.
Yep. So I think that's actually another substantial mistake. I would have attacked the meditations
Absolutely
on the
attack
Tau
meditations.
or meditation on the Tao. I'm sorry because that one's blank.
Yep,
There we see it. Favorable grounds. Does Scorpion have assassination? Oh no, he moves into Yoshi. Okay.
No, yeah, you absolutely move Yoshi in because you get an honored
right.
Yoshi.
Yeah, and then you get your attack. That makes sense.
Well,
Yeah.
no. Also, the skirmisher has 1 glory. Like for some reason, out of the crab cards, this crab card got a glory.
Yeah, I actually think that's kind of OP.
You think it's OP? I think it's worse.
Oh no, because I have several times played Skirmisher after all conflicts are resolved just to get the Imperial favor. I think it's
Okay,
very
that's fair.
strong
That's fair.
defensively.
I do see that line. I've actually done that before too.
Okay,
I've done it
so,
against Phoenix, because Contra District is pretty insane.
So this is I think another unfortunate mistake from the Scorpion player. I think that he absolutely should have attacked meditations on the Tao, and we're now seeing him get dishonored. Does he have some trick that will let him win this error ring?
So, yeah. So the bonsai gets countered by a voice of honor. So 1 voice of honor left. Micah passes. I wonder what Peregrine Falcon is thinking about. Okay, so no one wins.
Boy,
So
going to shameful
on
there.
on the very small positive, the Scorpion player does get to keep favor.
No, the Crane player still has a military attack.
Oh yeah, I didn't even realize the Crane player still had a conflict.
In fact, the Crane player is probably going to get another break
Yeah,
here.
you break rally here for sure. Uh, do you just hammer it? You probably go air. I would think I would air and just gain 2, just to
Yep,
take that,
air,
just to take that.
air gain 2,
Yeah,
take the dishonor out of reach.
yeah, just be like,
Wait, what a,
I'm not even trying to lose this game on this way.
what a gaff to go for the shameful display there. He must have not realized the opponent had favorable ground.
Yeah, that's the only thing I can think of.
But even then, a Steward of Law would jack you up. It's not worth the risk. Just go for meditations.
Well, no,
Steward
Steward of Law wouldn't jack you up.
Why?
Because it has no glory, and the
Oh,
Skirmisher
right.
cannot
Makes
become
it, yeah,
dishonored.
that's right. I always forget that aspect.
It's like someone had Steward of Law and they went for firing against me, and they had the Steward in the conflict, so they couldn't dishonor one of my guys.
I've done that before.
So this is so many cards being committed to stop this break. Look, I do have to give it to Adam. He is putting up a very strong fight to not lose. Like, he is still playing to win, and I do value that.
What if he had a fine katana? Why didn't he use it in the previous conflict?
I couldn't tell you.
Boy, this is bizarre.
Or the charge, right? Like, I mean, he had two mil buffs. Maybe he just conceded it.
Hey, I will say that getting the Fawning Diplomat out with the charge, that is going to be nice. You know, he's going to prevent.
I mean, I don't think Michah would activate Yoshi. He might actually with because he's gonna break here. He probably would activate actually.
He's fighting hard to keep his third province, which I think is. I mean, it's understandable.
It's admirable. It's just not gonna work.
I think if he had not made a few of the earlier mistakes, though.
I think the Crane player has been more efficient on his card usage.
Oh, admit defeat, brutal.
Yep.
Does he have another for shame?
He does
He
not.
does not.
I think he's used them all actually. So,
Oh, I thought he'd only played 2.
Oh wait, 1, 2.
Yeah, he's only played 2.
He's only played two of those in 2 court games. But the difference in the discard piles is just astronomical.
Yeah, the crazy thing in this situation is that actually the Scorpion player has used many more cards.
Yeah.
Even if you count the 3 cards that got discarded due
I mean,
to
so
Earthquakes.
one thing to make note of here is Michah has played his board out longer. He's played all. So the turns that he played 3 guys with 1 fate on 1 turn, and they all lived. So he got a full turn, or 2 turn cycles out of all of those guys. That was huge.
And by contrast, Scorpion here has played multiple expensive characters and not been able to retain them, either due to the misplay, as with the unassuming Yojimbo, or to playing just strange choices like playing Kachiko with no fate.
Yeah, playing Shoju with no fate. Like, I think you
No,
showed you with 2
fate.
Well, he should have showed you with 2, I think.
I think he should have. I think Shoju with 1
Oh,
was fine.
Guest of Honor is going to be the nail in the coffin here.
Yeah. I think Shoju with 1 fate was fine, but he absolutely needed to go for the Void Ring first thing. No question.
So you just Guest of Honor, you can Guest of Honor and Savvy Politician, and that should be game.
Yeah, so he can now just do a huge attack. He'd what is the Scorpion player's stronghold? Oh, but the Scorpion player's stronghold is either Pilgrimage or
most likely.
Shameful.
Even if it's shameful, it's not going to be enough of a swing. Like,
I would, as Crane, play the Savvy Politician and the Doji Whisperer.
Absolutely.
Well, actually, no, hang on. He probably has Political Rival on his hand. Maybe I just passed. Maybe. Oh no, it doesn't. Actually, the Political Rival is not good here because the
favorable
Scorpion player has the Favorable Ground. Favorable Ground is such a good card, by the way.
It's so good.
Yep.
So you play Politician. Play with. I mean, realistically, he probably should have played the Guest of Honor with none and just played all of his characters. Like, then that just has 3 more stats. Like, you're breaking on this first attack. I cannot, because you have Guest of Honor. There's just no amount of cards that can stop you.
The absolute, yeah.
Oh, Michah must have double Political Rival, or just a single Political Rival. I don't know why he passed there. Like, even if you have Political Rival, you definitely play the Whisperer.
Maybe he just doesn't want the Scorp player to get the fate.
Yeah, but you have Guest of Honor.
Good point.
Michah draws 5 again. Yeah, like the way Micah's playing this turn, he should just have played all of his characters and just swung for
Why?
defenses.
Why? Scorp bids 2. What does he think is going to happen? I will say also this game is sort of showing some of the weakness that can happen when you bid low on Scorp. The
Your dynasty characters just aren't strong enough.
Well, I mean, I don't know. He's made a bunch of mistakes also, but the Scorp Stronghold has gone almost totally unused.
That too. I mean, to be fair, the Crane one has also not been used, I think, at all this game.
Oh yeah, so technically the Scorp Stronghold's done better since I think he used it once ever.
Yep.
Okay, so I can only imagine that what we're gonna see here is just a gigantic attack. Yep,
So there's a rival. He just must also not have seen the Fable Grounds, because he's just adding he's adding 3 strength when he could have had 6.
Yeah, that's a good point. Could have just played the cards on board. Might have been better. Let's see. I think he has it.
So he has 5, 14, 18, 19, 20, 20. He's 25, and I'm assuming he also has the Crane Stronghold about the Rumor Monger. He has a Court Games probably in his hand to double honor. Like, I cannot imagine anything. It is Pilgrimage, but so Scorpion cannot play any events during this conflict. There's just no way. They're not playing. I don't think they're playing any. Like, there's just no way. We see a smiley face from Peregrine Falcon. I think he has admitted defeat. But I do respect him playing till the end. Just waiting for the fat lady to sing on this game. I will see if I can get an interview with Michah.
Peregrine Falcon is disconnected now. He's reconnected. It's Pilgrimage Stronghold as you anticipated. He does get a fate from that, but I can't imagine what he'll do with it that has any relevance. He is getting hit.
I mean, the only cards in his deck that he can play are attachments, and he's already used a fan, so he only has 1 fan left in his deck. That's the only political buff he can play in this fight.
So he can go to 9 to 23, which is not even close. That's probably going to be the game.
Michah with the Robin policy debate.
He discards First Shane. Okay, so there are no cards. This
First Shane can't even get played. Guest of Honors in the conflict.
Yeah, so I don't. Whatever, it's over.
Yeah, I mean, Michah probably should just pass. Going for Earth again. Man, if Scorpion were keeper and backhanded compliments him to make him draw 2 more cards. All right.
Oh man, yeah. All 3 remaining cards, 3 backhanded compliments, lose 3 honor, go to 1, and then go to 0 cards and die. Ultimate.
Yeah.
Fate economy over there was great. As Peregrine Falcon. I can't agree. Well, I don't know.
I mean, I think to an extent it was true. Like the Crane player did have a lot of like that.
Didn't think that the Crane player's Fate economy was especially good.
Yeah, I mean, I think they just played
Scorpion player's Fate economy was exceptionally bad.
Yeah.
Well, that was a game. Congratulations to Daidoji Michah for his victory. We saw kind of some more orthodox decks compared to the previous game that we streamed today, and
looks like Michah has agreed to an interview. I'm gonna go ahead and see if I can add him in here.
Yep. Well, let's see here. And I will note in the previous game, Scorpion won out. In this game, Crane won out. What do you think of the Crane Scorpion matchup overall?
I think it vastly depends on your deck style. Like, I'm not sure. I think it. I think it's a 50-50 matchup. I think it's a skill matchup actually. I think it's a skill matchup, and I think that it feels like Crane has a slight advantage, but I could be wrong. I am not an expert on these two clans, so I will defer to anybody else with an opinion of it.
Well, in support of the theory that it's 50-50, we've seen 2 games, and Scorp won one, Crane won the other. So
There you go.
50-50.
We did it.
Confirm.
Oh, sorry to cut you off there, Davis. I just
No,
added
no
Micah.
worries.
Hello.
Hey, what's up, man?
Can you hear me?
Yep.
Awesome.
All right, congratulations on your victory.
Thank you.
We saw some interesting plays from I guess both sides. There was just a couple interesting plays on your side. We were just kind of wondering why you decided to attack Secret Cache first instead of rally to the cause.
Hey, wait. I'm sorry. First off, congratulations on your victory.
I hit him with that. Don't worry. I did give him
got that.
congratulations first.
I believe with the secret cache, I was a little more confident that the attack was going to go through, and actually break. If I remember correctly, the one that actually broke rally was.
Oh, that was the one with the nourishment. That's fair.
Yeah, it was pulling out the stops, and if I wanted to get rid of the secret cache for good, and if I bounced off the rally later, no big deal.
That's reasonable. There was just I don't know, the game kind of devolved. So from what Kingsley and I were seeing, we thought that the turning point in the whole game was the turn where your opponent Oni masked the challenger for no reason.
Yeah, I had a couple political debates in hand that I was.
Well, it doesn't matter. So you're doing a military attack, and so you can't hook the liar into that conflict.
Right. Yeah, I was planning on dragging in the.
Oh, you're just gonna drag the
Yojimbo?
Yojimbo? I don't know. I don't agree with that usage, especially since you were contesting Void that turn. But I think that was the turning point because your opponent lost a 5 fate cost investment and 2 really powerful attachments.
Oh yeah, I don't think it was a good play, but it did keep me from popping political debate on him.
That's fair.
That's good to know. It wasn't totally useless, but it was not necessarily super efficient.
No.
Yeah, I think that and the Kachiko for 0 fate were the 2 just plays that sealed the deal.
Yeah, I was happy to have that happen for me, but
yeah, you had like a million cards in your hand. I just couldn't see that working out.
Yeah,
I
that was.
had most of my tech cards in my hand, but
So, what we were just discussing a little bit the Scorpion Crane matchup. How do you think that matchup looks? Do you feel comfortable facing Scorpion?
for the most part, my honor usually goes pretty low. I play pretty much bid 5 until I can't anymore, like I did in this game.
Yep.
So I usually hit 1, but
We were
as long as I've got
noticing
hand
that-
advantage. And
We were
they can't.
saying that the Scorpion player's only realistic chance to win was going to be the Dishonor victory, but you did a good job of averting that.
Yeah, hit arrow when I had a spare tempo and just made sure I was
Yeah,
safe.
that's what we were saying. There were a couple times where you got extra fate. The other question I have for you is, what is your opinion of Artipiece? So Kingsley and I are of the opinion that we don't like it. Sell me an Artipiece. Like I need some convincing of why it's better than say Fertile
Artifice
Fields.
was pretty solid here.
It was solid, but like it also could have been Fertile Fields, and I think it would have been just as fun. I guess Fertile Fields you had a billion
Did he
cards.
need more cards? Though? I mean,
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, so I believe with Noble Sacrifice, Crane's biggest problem against the classic Voltron unit is hitting the Dishonor piece.
That's reasonable. Yeah, exactly. I'm not saying it's the wrong choice. I just want a reasoning because I'm not a Crane player.
As an extra enabler for Noble Sacrifice, that makes sense.
Yeah, and I think it's usually worth 2 cards because there's probably going to be 1 attacker, 1 defender. That's an honor or dishonor. I figure that's 2 cards. I don't see people coming to Fertile 3 times during the game.
That's
so
fair. It does give you a pokeable province. Like, you can poke at Art of Peace.
it's only a 4. Like, actually, I'm kind of off on Before the Throne because it is a 5. I find 4 is easy to either force them to break it by, potentially even buffing their guys.
Yeah, I guess it's a feast or famine type province where you can like favorable ground a guy and then force them to break it.
Yeah, or just stop their attack, and that's fine too.
That's fair.
That's one weakness that I'm seeing with Before the Throne, as you said. I think when that card first came out, a lot of people were playing it. But as I've been testing it more, it's gotten removed from more and more of my decks because, as you say, it's a 5, and it's kind of hard to just break a 5 by accident.
So Micah, your deck list is it's very core like. Like you've added very few cards, and you've kept the Dragon Splash still, and so you're not playing Test of Skill, and you're still playing 3 Hotaru and 3 Yoshi and 3 Guest of Honor, so your Dynasty curve is quite high. Is there a reason that you decided to stick with this kind of core strategy?
I was actually the tiebreaker I had with Suki. I was running Test of Skill and it crapped out on me twice. It ran the odds. It was like 0.17%, but I whiffed 6 out of the 8 cards and managed to discard like all of my Stewies against LPBs and just got punched in the face and couldn't drop conflict characters. It was a bad scene.
Wow, that's brutal, dude.
That is brutal.
Yeah, I mean, confirmation bias, anecdotal evidence,
results-oriented thinking, all that stuff.
Yeah. So if I look at your deck here, it looks like you're playing Hideyoshi and Policy Debate as your only. Oh, I'm sorry. You also have 1 Imperial Palace and 1 Doji Rep, and those are your cards from the new cycle.
Yeah, I don't think Crane got a ton. Yoshi's. I thought he was a little win more when I first saw him, but he's been super impressive.
What is?
I realized.
Oh god.
Oh, you get to keep him in province the whole turn. If you get favor, you can buy him next turn. And if you don't get favor, you can just pitch him. So
that's kind of how I feel with Sumiko.
Yeah, he just gets amazing value for the 1 dynasty slot. I'd never buy him really if I didn't have favor. But
yeah, that's my doctrine for that as well.
What's your opinion on some of the more kind of like Neo Crane lists that Shooterev has been playing with the Scorpion Splash?
Definitely been watching a bunch of the league games, and I'm really jealous of Fate Worse Than Death.
Yeah, it's a tight card. A lot of people were skeptical of it when it came out, but I think it's proven itself to be very useful, especially against Dragon, who's traditionally
Dragon and
tough.
Crab. I think it's been very good against because the traditional Voltron clans.
For sure. I haven't playtested it, obviously. I'm a little skeptical of it against Crab just because the glory value, they don't care about the dishonor, and they've got so many tricks to stay on without Fate.
That's fair. Blanking like a Witch Hunter is like Fate Worse Than Deathing Witch Hunter is pretty sick.
Yeah, for sure. Witch Hunter is good to hate on as much
or
as possible.
hitting Shuichi can also be a pretty big deal because he does have 2 glory.
For sure.
Often against Crab, I think just having Cloud is...
Cloud is what you want, actually.
Yeah, especially because Karada District can't be used
Yeah,
on
it's
Cloud.
very weird. It can't. Unlike calling in favors, you cannot move it.
Yeah, Karada's...
So in your upcoming match, you actually we already know who your opponent is going to be because Bayushi Yuji had a bye. And so you'll be playing him. It is another Scorpion matchup. So do you feel confident in this matchup?
I think his deck list matches up better against mine and my playstyle a little better. He's got the 3 Fate Worse Than Deaths, as opposed to just the 1.
Go ahead. Yeah, so your opponent in this round was running a 1 I Can Swim instead of 2 a Fate Worse Than Death.
Right, and I don't think I bid lower the entire game.
So he's on 3 Fate Worse Than Death and 2 Assassination. Assassination is very strong against Crane.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I think that leans into my deck better. He's also running, I think, an extra Cloud as opposed to the Oni Mask.
He's running an extra Cloud, and he is running Policy Debate, which your previous opponent was not running.
Yeah, not worrying about that was amazing. So nice.
Yeah, and then it looks like I actually might end up playing you in the top 16 if we both make it there.
Well, I hope to see someone there.
Yeah, I have 3 Cranes on my side of the bracket, so I will be playing Crane up until I face you, and then I will play another Crane.
What is your favorite and least favorite matchup on Crane?
Least favorite's probably Lion or Crab, just because of the RNG. You know,
I can see that.
they flip charge Casada, Iron Mine. It's just like, okay, first turn, like, good game.
It's brutal.
First turn,
Like,
I need voice, like, right? Like, you need to have an honored character and a voice.
yeah, I mean, if that happens, but again, that's also RNG. So
No, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. It's
Yeah.
like
Yeah, for sure.
to beat this, I also need to draw my draw well.
Yeah, and then Lion, similar things where they can just get flips and not really play the game as much.
Yeah, the
actually-
Lion high roll dream draw is pretty difficult.
I've had pretty decent luck with Scorpion. It's always a close game, but I seem to edge it out in the end as far as
From
matchups.
what I've been watching, it feels like Crane has the tools to win that matchup.
Yeah, they have a hard time, I think, getting through our provinces, and as long as we don't get too greedy on our honor and let them punk us out that way.
Yeah, I'm looking at the Crane deck list on my side of the bracket, and it looks like Eric is also on your camp with this traditional build, so that's another strong Crane player. So it looks like the Crane camp is kind of going into 2 different branches with the Scorpion Splash and the Dragon Splash.
Yeah, I definitely am interested in checking out the Scorpion Slash, but the fact that Let Go is free
It's free, yeah.
so nice.
Yeah.
Although
Which is-
Kokita Yoshi making your events cost less is pretty tight.
I have seen some people actually also playing Crab Splash with Crane.
Oh,
And
for
going
Pathfinder's
for-
Blade?
Yeah, you got 3 Pathfinder. It's basically the same as what people are running from Dragon. 3 Pathfinder Blade, 3 Reprieve, 2 Haruma Skirmisher. The problem with that one is that you lack attachment control unless you put me a Mystic Sin.
Yeah, and no one wants to do that.
And also
We've got-
you're
we've
traditionally
got
not a
Cautious.
charged clan, right?
Yeah, not a charge clan, and we've got Cautious Scout, so it feels a little smarter to...
Cautious Scout.
Cautious Scout
diversify away
is
from-
sick.
He's so sick.
We were saying earlier, Cautious Scout is like, most improved from core set meta to now.
Yes. Yeah, he's been amazing. Especially against Dragon, but pretty much
Yep.
never unhappy to see him early.
Yeah, when someone Cautious Scouts an arrest out, I just like die a little bit inside.
In equal measure, I'm sure. to
Yeah, in equal measure when
rejoicing
somebody
on the
actually
other
runs
side
an
of the
arrest
table.
out.
I'm still waiting for like the Cautious Scout into Resto countered by the Assassination, which is now a blank conflict. Charge Yoruma.
Oh, I've done.
man.
I have done that.
Wow,
That's
that's a wild sequence of events.
so dirty.
I have
It's so
done.
dirty.
It didn't involve Cautious Scout, but it was them attacking a face up resto. I killed their guy, and then I charged Yoruma in, and
Yeah,
I made them discard a bunch of cards.
I
Yeah, I
have
mean,
yet
Charge-
to.
Charge Yoruma, if you're showing Yoruma, is one thing. Charge Yoruma into what should be a blanked province Cautious Scout attack.
Is another
with
thing,
the
yeah.
kill is-
Yeah, that's something
great.
else. I have yet to pull that one off, but if I do, I will rejoice.
So far, my best Yoruma plays. So I've made 3 really strong. Yoruma has been quite good. So charge Yoruma into Shameful has been pretty insane. Because you just get
Yeah,
to
that's-
reset your
that's-
Shameful. And then I won a match against Kalimsha where I charged Yoruma on my Stronghold and I got to rally again. And because
nice.
Yoruma's a 4 Paul, you just charge immediately into a 4 Paul defender.
Wow, that's excellent. Yeah, I will say I think those the rulings on that are bizarre, but I mean it favors us. So
Yeah, I cannot wait for Crane to get a good charge character.
what does Crane have? I mean, Nourishment's kind of okay. as a
Nourishment's
charge
okay.
character.
Challenger's okay. Like not great, but okay because you get a good activation out of it.
Brash Samurai is good if you're defending.
Yep.
Yeah, they're borderline ones.
Did
I mean,
did Crane play charge in Corset?
I don't think so.
There's nothing on the same tier as like Charge General, Charge Kasada, Charge Samiko, Charge Yoruma.
I mean, even like Charge Yanako is pretty hot.
Yeah, charging
Yeah.
Yunako is real good.
or all their like happy die characters.
I thought the charge onto what's her name?
Fawning.
Yeah, Fawning Diplomat. I thought that was a tight move.
Yeah, I was expecting it and just was like, all right, I don't.
I mean, you had 8 cards in your library at the
deck
time.
in my hand. I don't need to activate Yoshi again.
Yeah,
Yeah, but we're saying at that point, activating Yoshi was to some degree unsafe anyway, since your cards in conflict were so low.
Right.
But under differing circumstances, that would have been a tight play.
Oh, real quick.
Yeah.
So Eric is running Mia Satoshi. Have you experimented with that?
I have not. Just I don't like the tempo loss in Dynasty that it can cause if you're looking for dupes. Palace is great, but
It can find Yoshi also, right? Like, Yoshi is an Imperial, I think.
right, but then you're like pre-buying Satoshi, and that's
Yeah,
a
that's
lot
fair.
of fate, and then into Yoshi, or you're hoping you flip Yoshi, and I don't know.
It's just not. Yeah, it doesn't seem efficient. That's fair. I just was looking at some differences.
Yeah, for sure. I tend to shot, and I think this is like a playstyle thing with test of skill. I try to stay away.
You don't
from
like
the
variance.
RNG
You
as
just
much
want
as
to.
possible.
You want all your cards to do their own thing, basically.
Yeah, and I think most of the players in the cup, especially with the play skill of like, since it's a new game, a lot of players are still learning, and I just value the consistency at this point. Maybe it'll desert me. Maybe I'll want a little more high risk, high reward.
No,
as I go deeper into the bracket, but.
It's like a Jun thing in Magic where you just always are gonna do your game plan and just play all solid cards that work strongly on their own.
Seems to be the Crane thing at the moment.
That's fair. I think I'm gonna go grab some dinner, so I'm gonna let you go. Thanks for the interview, and good luck in your next round against Bayushi Yuji.
Yeah, congratulations on your victory. Good luck in the rest of the league.
Thank you.
All right, take care, man.
You
Later.
as well. Bye.
All right, guys. That was this last round of the league. I will be back streaming as often as I can, and I will see you guys next time.